Haruki Murakami, one of my favorite writers, has one of the most interesting daily routines where he wakes up 4 a.m., writes for 3 to 5 hours, does a 10-kilometer run, then spends the rest of the day in leisure listening to music or reading books. I decided I would try and partake in this daily routine for a 7-day period. So 5 a.m. wake up. Decided to do the Murakami writing schedule for a bit. About to sit down and write for 2.5 hours. I'm not a fiction writer, but it's because I'm doing this challenge. I wanted to do some fiction writing, so what I did was I split the time in half, where the first hour and a half I did fiction writing, and then the next hour and a half I worked on some YouTube ideas, did some journaling, and I think that's probably what I'm going to do for the week. It wasn't completely easy. The time didn't go that quickly on day one, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm about to run my first 10 kilometers that I ever have in my life. This will be the furthest I've ever run, and I'm not exactly in the shape that would be ideal for this, but I'm just gonna go for it. So I'm in Zocalo right now. I'm about 8 kilometers in. I took breaks, but 8 kilometers in, and gonna run circles around Zocalo right now. Beautiful place to do some running. One of the best things about Mexico City is literally everywhere there are bookstores, every single block. This one looks incredible. It's really important to plow through as many novels as you can while you're still young. Everything you can get your hands on. Great novels, not so great novels, crappy novels, it doesn't matter at all. As long as you keep reading, absorb as many stories as you physically can. Introduce yourself to lots of great writing. The things I would like to get done are I would like to finish a short story fully, and I would like to run my 10-kilometer time in less than an hour. I feel like the act of running represents concretely and succinctly some of the things I have to do in this life. I'm not feeling so great, I don't feel like running. I tell myself, no matter what, this is something I have to do in my life, and I go out and run without really ascribing a logical reason for it. That sentence has become a kind of mantra for me. No matter what, this is something I have to do in my life. Writing today was decent. I woke up feeling really tired, honestly. Today, as far as the tiredness, the 4 a.m.s started to hit me, and I'm going to sleep too late. Starting to hit a toll on me. But once I get the run in, I get this second win that's amazing. Only thing is, the way Murakami does his schedule is he does his run in the middle of the day, then he has the whole rest of the day where he kind of is in leisure. I haven't been able to match that completely because I still have work after I do my writing in the morning that I have for my clients. So it's been a little tricky balancing everything, the big chunk of writing, the 10 kilometers, and then I've been doing a decent amount of reading, but instead of just a long, like 8-hour stretch like he has in his schedule, I kind of just do it in different increments, in breaks throughout the day. And my back is hurting, knees are hurting, my whole body hurts, and I love it. I actually got my best time today, which was 1 hour and 12 minutes, which is decent. I mean, it's not a good time, but it's a decent time for someone that's never done running before, so I find encouragement in that. Bang. And there we go. Finished. That was my first short story that I've ever finished. I've written short film scripts, but never something where I had to deal with just the descriptive process as much as writing a short story, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm happy I got one part of what I want to accomplish this week done. Short story from my brain, new story, new world. A terrible story. I would never ever show this to anyone, but I think it's a good stepping point. From here now that I've completed something, I have the desire to continue and create more in this type of manner. So that's fantastic. So amazing. Now the hard part, the run. Last run of the week. Can I get that sub 60-minute 10K? Yesterday was worse than the day before. hour 15, hour 12. I have a long way to go to get below that sub 60. My stamina has been good though. It's whether my calves can hold up. An hour and 11 minutes left. I'm gonna push and make a sprint for the last little bit. So I finished at an hour and 15 minutes. Didn't really get so close to my sub hour that I wanted. But yeah, really good. I'm tired right now. Yeah. Unfortunately, my calves for the first few miles are just so tight, I could barely run without pausing. But the second half, I was able to pick it up a bit. So, hour 15, I'm happy about that. I'm happy. I've never run a 10 kilometer in my life. The furthest I probably ever run was maybe 5 kilometer, and years ago, maybe over a decade ago. So to jump right into this and do 6 of them in a row while my body was hurting me the entire time, I'm happy. So yes, eventually I will get that sub 1 hour. This week wasn't the week, but it'll happen soon. 100%. Some of the takeaways from this challenge now that I'm done is 4:30 or 4 a.m. was a little bit too early for me. For whatever reason, I've woken up for long periods of time where I wake up at 5 a.m., but 4 a.m. was just a little too much. Sunrise here in Mexico is about 7 a.m. So just being up when it's cold and dark, getting out of bed was difficult, and then getting to sleep after the run, I still felt adrenalized. So I was having a bad sleep during this time. I think something closer to 5:30, 6:30, and working through that first bulk would be much better for me. Next, I actually finished the short story, which was awesome, really cool. It was the first time that I finished a short story from beginning to end. One thing I found out is I'm probably not a very good literary writer. I can come up with ideas, but the descriptive portion of it, I don't think I play with words in such a fluid fashion that leads to good storytelling or leads to pleasant sentences. But it's something I enjoy, and I will continue writing just literary fiction to the best of my abilities. Next thing I really learned from this challenge is that I enjoy this type of routine. This is the way I would ideally want to structure my day, where I have a deep work session in the morning. I can feel good. I can feel guilt-free for the rest of the day. I would like to have all my obligations be controllable and allow me to just do it in that first part of the day. Then a huge workout. I love that. And for the rest of the day, just sit in this leisure. I just found out that it's a type of schedule that fits my personality and one that I would love to make a reality within my life. Next thing I learned is the beauty of emptying out your soul and then replenishing it all in the same day, emptying it out with work, but then replenishing it later in the day through exercise and through reading and just taking in art and music and replenishing your soul with that, with long periods of leisure time where you can recuperate and also just feed yourself with information that would inspire you and keep you in the flow of creation. I feel like this type of routine where you mesmerize yourself into a different state through massive amounts of cardio, doing the same thing every single day, showing up for hours and just pouring yourself out through your writings, you end up meeting a different version of yourself that's a little more whole and just operates outside of time, where time disappears when you are merged with this other version of yourself, and ideas can connect themselves from different places, and it's just a beautiful thing to meet that other version of yourself.